Hey, I'm Rob, and today we're going to talk about what could be the best value in gaming tables, the Brimhart. It's a board game table available on Amazon. In this video, I'm going to talk about the basics of the table, like what it is, how much it cost, what the shipping and delivery was like, customer service, as well as what it's like to use, things I like, a couple things I don't like, and some cool accessories I made that you could grab yourself if you pick one of these up. So let's get into it. Brimhart sells the table directly on Amazon, and it's available in two colors. There is a honey oak, which I got, and a walnut-like color. A note about pricing. Currently, both colorways are about $600. When I bought them, the honey oak was $650 and the walnut was $7. And then they did a $100 sale the day after I bought the table. I will note their customer service was decent. I sent them a quick email and they credited me the $100, like no questions asked. So that was pretty cool. But do be aware, the price fluctuates and they could be a discrepancy between the two colors. But in general, I think they're usually roughly around the $600 point. The table itself comes in two big boxes. They warn you that they could be delivered separately, but in my case, they both arrived the same day. And it is really easy, as you can see in this quick time lapse of me and my family putting it together. You literally bolt 4 legs to it, and it's done. Take the toppers out of the box, slide in the inserts, you're good to go. So size-wise, with the table toppers on, we're about 38.5. By 62.5. And 30 inches high. To remove the toppers, it's pretty easy. One of them has this little handle, and they just pull straight out. There is no included topper storage, but I found they just stack up fine. With the table toppers off, the dimensions of the inner play area are just over 33, just over 57. And it is about 3 inches deep. All right, so as far as usable play space goes, this table is absolutely perfect for 4 people. And I don't think it's going to have trouble fitting even the largest mainstream game. Well, I think, maybe a super large game like Twilight Imperium or, some sort of large wargaming games like Warhammer or something, you're going to want a bigger table. But I think for most mainstream board games, especially in the 4-player range, this thing is absolutely perfect. And there's ample room for 4 people and accessories. I think if you were in a pinch, you could squeeze in up to 6 on the ends and maybe do a 5-6 player D&D campaign. But really, I think the sweet spot for this is the 4-player board game thing. Speaking of 4 players, I also play a lot of Magic the Gathering, and the table is absolutely perfect for a 4-player commander pod. Either with or without the toppers, it holds 4 playmats and scorekeepers and dice and tokens and everything you need wonderfully. The drink holders are nice to be off and away from the cards, and it's just a really comfortable Magic experience with or without the toppers. Without the toppers, these are decent wrist rest, but usually when I play Magic, it's with the top on, like this. Since I have a 5-year-old, we don't get to play a lot of board games in the house, but what we do a lot of is build Lego, and the table is fantastic for Lego projects. It's big enough for the whole family to sit around it, and we can all have our own work areas. And like the side walls, they're perfect for keeping, you know, small pieces from flying around and like nice and contained. Yeah, the other sweet thing about the gaming well is when we're done building for the day, we don't have to collect everything and put it away if we don't want to. Like if we're in the middle of like a big project, or if we're just like wanting to take a little break for a while and come back to something we've put a lot of effort into, we can leave all of our pieces and all of our piles of parts where we want to, put the tabletop back on top, and go on about our business. And then, you know, when we're ready to come back, it's like, boom, save state. It's very cool, and it's come in handy a couple of times already. Not recording the part where I talked about how sweet it was for dexterity games. Oh, anyhow, the thing is really sweet for dexterity games like crossbows and catapults. Again, I have a 5-year-old, so this is the kind of stuff we play. But yeah, previously on the card table, you know, first it wasn't the right proportions, so our castles were too close together. But then, like, you know, these little discs were flying all over the room. You'd hit a brick, they'd fly all over the room, go under the couch. Here, with the gaming well, like, stuff does a pretty good job of, like, staying inside the play area. It's super, super awesome. You know, I'm super impressed with the build quality of this thing. Like, it's, you know, it feels really solid. It doesn't wobble. You know, it feels like it's going to take some good, like, family playtime abuse and last a while, which is great, especially considering how easily it came together. However, it's not perfect, and it's obvious it's not a fine piece of furniture. And, you know, you can see where, you know, whether it was for both shipping purposes or to just get the cost down, like, there were a couple compromises made, I think, that separate a $600 table from a $3,000 table. And one, and probably the most glaring and obvious, is this little inset piece inside the gaming well. You know, on one hand, like, it is why it was so quick to put this table together, but it's not the prettiest thing to look at, and it does take up a little space in the gaming area. Personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Would it be nice if they weren't there? Sure, it would look cleaner. But again, I think for the price and for being able to throw this thing together by tightening 8 screws in 10 minutes, it's fine. Totally, totally fine. Another one of the things I saw people complaining about online before I bought the table was the gaming surface, which I will describe as leatherette. In anticipation of hating it, I went ahead and ordered a custom mat on Etsy designed to fit the inside of this table, which is really sweet. Like, I'll show it to you. It's like black neoprene, and I'll probably use this like if I were playing like card games or things that really needed it. But otherwise, honestly, like, I don't hate the leatherette. Like, I think it's fine. It looks fine. It's held up. And again, maybe it's just because most of the time we're playing with Legos and stuff instead of like picking up a lot of cards. And when I do have cards, they're sleeved. I think the built-in mats, totally cool. If you don't like the color, or if you do want something with a little more give, there are places out there on Etsy where you can order, you know, whatever you like, custom to your heart's content. And that's super cool too. But don't feel like you have to go do that. Like, I do think the thing that comes with it is fine. And some people, like, I didn't notice any weird smells. Like, it didn't take days to unkink. Like, it shipped fine. It unwrapped. It's fine. So, yeah. Not going to complain about the mat that came with it. I don't regret having that, but in hindsight, I probably wouldn't have rushed out to spend $60, $70 on it when the one that came with it is good enough. Another thing about the table. There are a couple things about these toppers you should know. First, I did see some complaints online of people that got them, and then after settling in their house, the wood bowed and they rocked back and forth. I haven't had any of those issues. Like, they've all sat flat and flush for me, and nothing's, you know, deformed or warped. Like, they've been fine. But even as they're designed, like, there's a little give. First of all, too, there's no ceiling. Like, I know some of the fancy $2,000 tables have like nice rubber gaskets that go in here, so they seal up tight and you can spill liquid and wine and water and keep everything dry underneath. Don't do that with these. Like, that there's no sealant, there's no gasket, there's no rubber. If you spill something, it will go through. The other thing is, when you have them all in place, just because of the way it's designed, there is a little play. So there may be, there's a little crack. Like, it is not a perfectly flush, tight surface. Like, with all 4 pieces on, you've probably got maybe somewhere between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an inch of give between all of them. And that's probably just so that you can, easily get them out. But it's a thing. It's there. Again, it doesn't affect us. We probably spend just as much time with the top on as off. Again, it's not in our kitchen or dining room, so we're not eating food on it. If we were having dinner on it, I'd just get a tablecloth or use placemats, probably a tablecloth and placemats. But for the kind of utility and play work we do with it, it's totally fine. But yeah, just know that these things do, there is a little gap and they don't seal up tight. But it's fine. All right, let's talk about accessories. First, I think the single biggest complaint I've seen online about this table are these cup holders, which people say are ridiculously small. They should probably more accurately call them can holders. As you can see, they perfectly hold a can of soda and not much else. You can fit, a Belgian beer bottle, or, a water bottle will fit in there. But really, like, these things are designed for can diameter sized vessels. Like, they won't hold like one of my kids' like sippy cups, and like they won't hold like, any of the tumblers we have around our house. That, however, is easily fixable. Because it's the hobby that makes everything better, I went ahead and designed a 3D printed replacement, or complement, but I've designed a larger cup holder, and it's for free up on Printables. So I'll put a link in the description below, and if you've got a 3D printer, you're welcome to print one out and use it yourself. But this replacement has, it's the same profile, so it snaps in the same way. And yes, it can still hold like cans and whatnot, but it can also hold, the Bluey cup. It can hold, your average, Yeti brand tumbler. It can hold larger Yeti knockoff tumblers. So yeah. It comes with these wooden ones. They're good for cans, but I've designed and 3D printed a bigger cup holder, and it's for free on my Printables. So go print your own. And whatever color you want, they're cool. The other accessory that came bundled with it for free, which is pretty neat, was this little accessory tray, which has, it's got a couple slots, so you can either hold cards, and it's got a little tray. Right now I'm using it for a handful of dice, and I'm also using one of the cup holders for extra dice as well. So these are the free accessories that came with it, and yeah, they're free, so they're pretty cool. It came with 4 of each, one for each seat around the table. And again, aside from the cup holders I've made, there's other stuff out there. This was the first cup holder I made. I actually remixed someone else. Someone has put up some just trays, like random trays in 3 sizes. I was able to resize one of those and poke a hole in it to make a big cup holder. So, we use that for stuff too. There's one more cool accessory I want to show off, is another thing that I made myself. The weekend I bought the table, I had a friend come into town and we played a lot of Magic the Gathering. And we like to do a lot of like limited formats and stuff where we're doing a lot of like deck building, and we just had like piles of basic lands everywhere. So I got the bright idea to build this land station. So I just designed, again, using the same kind of like lip that goes in there. Like I've got like a nice base, built that out, and then just dropped in a cup that will hold, you know, maybe 200 lands. And I've printed them in the 5 mana colors. So we've got our plains, islands, swamps, mountains, forests. But yeah, I've always got basic lands ready to grab. And it's also nice too, like when we crack packs, we throw them in there. And I don't just have like little piles of basic lands all over my house like I used to. So yeah, I've also put the design files for this on Printables. So if you too would like a basic land station for your Brimhart gaming table, go download it and print it. It's free. It's cool. Link in the description below. All right, so to wrap this thing up, obviously $600 isn't cheap. It's a good deal of money, but I think it's a reasonable price for a decent piece of furniture. And I don't think there's anything else out there in this price range that comes close. It's well built. It's easy to put together. There's an actual customer support people that answer emails within a day and get back to you. Yeah, it's easy to order on Amazon and have FedEx deliver it within like a week. I think delivery actually took me 5 days from placing the order to getting it. Not only do I love this table, the second day we had it, my 5-year-old son was like playing with Pokemon cards or something, and he looked up and he was like, "Dad, I love this table." And it's just really cool. Like we've had a lot of really good special moments around it. We've built big Lego sets. We've built small Lego sets. We've traded cards together. Like we've had a lot of good family times here. I've had a lot of good times with friends. This is a really fun piece of furniture, and I highly recommend it.